You'll Never Find Me, which is a 2023 horror thriller horror. It's an Australian shutter film. It's directed and written by two people, Indianna Bell and Jonah Allen, I believe how you pronounce that name. Pretty much, it follows a guy named Patrick, who's an older fellow. He's a lonely guy who lives in a trailer park area, lives in a mobile home, and pretty much during a violent, thunderstorm, a random woman is knocking on his door. He's like, "What is this about?" And then he lets her in, and pretty much it's more, and it's a two-person movie because it basically is just him and her talking over and over again, and some hints of like weird stuff is going on, but then it gets very confusing by the end, at least to me. And granted, I had to cheat to figure out what the ending even meant, because it's one of those artsy fartsy endings of, we unreliable narrator and stuff. But I mean, the acting is really good, so for the most part, is decent to pretty good. It's shot well. The sound is really good. I'll give it more credit for the sound. The third act, I mean, if you've seen maybe The Sixth Sense, I guess you could say you've seen this before, or any other movies of, because it's not supernatural, but then it is supernatural sort of, but it's more psychological by the end. At least that's how they're making it by the end, is psychological, really. Because you don't really know much about these characters other than, I guess, Patrick had a wife at one point. She died overdosing. And this random stranger he lets in his mobile home, she pretty much says, "Oh, I just came here from the beach," and he's like, "The beach is far from here, so you couldn't have walked all that way here from there." Or the fact that, I guess, wherever he's at, he's like in this area where all these other trailers are at, but like, I guess there's like a gate around the place so nobody can get in or out. So then he's wondering how she even get in if, and I like that aspect of, like, even she like asked, "How did I even get here if," and then he's like, "Yeah, how did you get here?" But by the end, like, it reminded me of, again, what a typical generic ghost. It's not real. This is one of those frustrating movies with me of how to explain the ending, because spoilers for people that don't want to know the ending. Spoilers starting now. I guess it's interpreted that it's all in his head, really, or this part of this random woman coming to his house. Either she's already dead, I guess, and he's like just replaying what happened, or I don't know. But then he has a dead body in the back this whole time of another woman. I guess the first kill that he did, or one of the first, because then by the end he's encountering, past victims all through the mobile home. And I'm like, who are all these other women that we never... I get... What did he do with... And then he goes outside at one point, because he hears something outside, or banging on top of the roof, so then he bolts outside. And he just stands outside, in the rain. And I'm like, why? It's like, play the song, In the Rain, or whatever. I forget the name of the song, but Um, but yeah, like, and then like he hears screaming, so then he goes back in the house, or not in the house, in the mobile home. And by this time, the random stranger woman pretty much figures out, oh, he's a killer, because she finds a dead body of a random woman in the back and a cell phone. And then, like, this, so I guess maybe it wouldn't have mattered if, that's the reason she couldn't have fought back, really, because, like, she just doesn't, like, during, like, the struggle scene, I'm like, how come you're not fighting him off, really? Like, she's just letting them duct tape her together, and I'm like, what are you doing? And then, like, she lets him, poison her. But then, and then it's like, oh, he hit her with a hammer, actually. Or, because there's, like, parts throughout the movie where she's, like, in the shower at one point, and, like, she thinks she's bleeding from the head, because she sees blood pouring from her head or whatever, or in the water. Or she tries to hit the glass, try to get out of the place, and it starts bleeding. And then she starts bleeding, but then she doesn't see any blood on the hammer. And then somebody also commented, they said, like, he, I guess, hit her. It was a hit and run or something, and then maybe he forgot that he hit her, and, like, she didn't remember. But then he does remember her, but then he doesn't. And then I watched an explaining ending video where, he disassociates himself with the victims of so that's why he can keep doing what he's doing and not feel bad about what he's doing. So then it's like, I don't like this guy. And granted, he was acting weird to begin with, but, like, he wasn't as bad at the beginning. He seemed like just a recluse and a sad guy. But then he's not really a good person, so I didn't really care for her because you know much about her, really. And then you didn't know if half of what she was even saying was true, or if most of what she was saying was true. So then it's like, I really can't get behind her either. I mean, it sucks that she died and all, and whatever, but, I don't know. This one, and it's getting a lot of praise for mostly its cinematography and some of the dialogue, which is fine, but again, I wouldn't watch this again. I think this is one of those you have to watch over like twice, maybe 3 times, which I'm not doing. But I guess if you like, very low budget, it's almost like a stage play as well. The camera rot like rotates in certain scenes, like left to right, which is kind of cool, kind of old school. So some of the camera work I didn't mind, visual didn't mind, but again, the whole climax is just dumb to me because it didn't make sense. I don't know what they could have really done with it to make it better. And then I think he dies at the end anyway, because I think you hear him like collapsing, because the movie ends on his mobile home outside, and he goes inside, and then I guess you hear him collapse or fall or whatever and die, because he took the poison or whatever, drink, or tablet, or elixir, so yeah. I don't know, this one was, and then it felt also long, towards the when everything was hitting the fan, it started to clock in a bit too long. Like, this should have been over by now. But yeah, so let me know if you've seen this, if you like it or not. It was okay. First time watch, it was fine. But I don't see myself ever coming back to it. So, yeah.